About that Zoom bomber last Saturday.
John,
Did you see him, Alyssa?
I choose to ignore it. It wasn't that big of a deal and it moved on.
I'm glad to hear that it moved on.
It was where it needed to be for a minute. It was fine.
What's happening, Mr. Hedderman?
Not much. Mm. Well, Vlad,
Hi, Paul. How are you?
good, good.
Uh,
Did you get we're gonna do that Joshua tree January 8th.
yeah, I hope I will be able to come.
Yeah, so
Well,
8,
I'm
9,
looking
10,
forward
and
to
11.
much. Yeah.
We'll post it soon, or maybe it's even posted, I don't know. So yeah, we're gonna have a little gathering in the desert down in Southern Cal, a place called Joshua Tree on January 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th. So we'll have the Zoom and we'll have a live meeting there on Saturday. And people are welcome. We've got one house. We're gonna get another house, and yeah, you can come if you like. It's become a tradition. So a Zen bitch slap condition. Tradition. Yeah. Mike, are you running it today?
No, Kathy is. Kathy is on deck today.
Kathy, do you have something to read, Kathy? You like to read?
Well, like I picked out something. Did you?
Yeah, go ahead when we start.
Oh, all right. We're starting. Okay, you know what? I lost my little script. But hello, everyone.
An AA meeting, that's all.
Welcome to the Reflections on the 12 Steps. This is not just a reminder, this is not an AA meeting, but one man's, that's Paul's, understanding of the exact nature of our wrongs as described on page 64 of the big book and the solutions contained therein. This is not an all share meeting, but there will be shares. And I think that's all I need to say, right? Before I read.
Yep.
All right. Well, if this sounds all right, I thought I would read from page 12 in Bill's story.
Yeah, sure.
All right. Starting at the top, the first paragraph, he says, despite the living example of my friend, there remained in me the vestiges of my old prejudice. The word God still aroused a certain antipathy. When the thought was expressed that there might be a God personal to me, this feeling was intensified. I didn't like the idea. I could go for such conceptions as creative intelligence, universal mind, or spirit of nature, but I resisted the thought of a czar of the heavens, however loving his sway might be. I have since talked with scores of men who felt the same way. My friend suggested what then seemed a novel idea. He said, why don't you choose your own conception of God? That statement hit me hard. It melted the icy intellectual mountain in whose shadow I had lived and shivered many years. I stood in the sunlight at last. It was only a matter of being willing to believe in a power greater than myself. Nothing more was required for me to make my beginning. I saw that growth could start from that point. Upon a foundation of complete willingness, I might build what I saw in my friend. Would I have it? Of course I would. Do you want me to keep going or?
No, that's all right. You want to stop, Kathy? Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So he's taught, it starts, he's having a conversation with a guy he used to know that seems to be lit up and hasn't drank and used. And he's surprised and also reserved. And a lot of things that he shares about himself are shared by us because he's sharing about alcoholism. Really, not about Bill's point of view, but alcoholism and that idea of contempt prior to investigation, which is the head has us in a state of knowing a lot of shit we don't know. Yeah. So that state of knowing sort of blocks us from finding out. And they were just basically bending over backwards just to get people into the program because they had great faith that if they did what we did and went where we went and this stuff, they would get the relief that Bill and Bob and everyone else had gotten. Yeah. So they're just really pointing out some of the basic barricades or obstacles the head will put up and trying to negate that so you could get in. So they came up with that great idea, or the guy did. What's his name? Gabby or something, I forgot. And I'm sure someone knows. You get this great idea that why not have a God of your own understanding, and basically just to be willing, yeah, to come in even though you have reservations about God or whatever. Yeah, so pretty good idea. And then this would be the starting point, and then he goes to the real motor or fuel, which is willingness. Yeah, and it says in our book, it says if you don't have willingness, then pray to have the willingness. Yes, so it's basically just letting a little bit of willingness come out, and then it can carry us a long, long way, I feel. So this is one of the big moments in recovery because you can have an idea. So some would say doorknobs or whatever. It didn't matter in a way, but you could have your own idea. But that probably wasn't going to be galvanized for the rest of your life. It was just to get something started. And then by being affected by the higher power, you'll have an intimacy about the higher power. Yeah. Like when you recognize a number of situations that something did for you what you couldn't do for yourselves, that's a whole lot of 8 hours of trying to be convinced by someone else. Yes. So now you realize something's working, and that working, you're rubbing against something and you get to know it that way. And most people outgrow the idea. See, I remember when I came in, I didn't have a big problem with the God and stuff. Didn't care really. And so I started out, oh, you can have a God of your own understanding. Very quickly, I realized that's a fucking weak God. If I have a God of my own understanding, I've had a God of my own understanding for years. How's it work? So let's say, how about a God of its own understanding? Yeah. Yeah. So this is how, and then when that shifted, that stayed, when people talk to me, it stayed the same now for 37 years. Yeah. So there was the first few months, a couple of corrections that when they were corrected, they never needed another correction. Yeah. Yeah. Like the idea of quit playing God as if I'm the one that's doing the playing God. When I realized I wasn't that which was playing God, my idea of how it would look by quit playing God wasn't the way it looked. It looked like a loss of interest in that which was playing God. I'll say it again. there was a loss of interest in that which was playing God. So what fuels the playing God is a devoted listening to it from the audience, which we are the audience, we are the us. Yeah? And unfortunately, we've been constantly directed by the head to listen to the self. Yeah. And sometimes it's turned into a great devotion. And we talk about it in We Agnostics, where you may have, there's a spiritless servility to the head. So now you're worshiping, in a sense, the God that's playing God. And it's best to see that than anything else, tell you the truth. So I feel. So this was a starting point. Yeah, have a God of your own understanding, and then you'll realize quickly your understanding is pretty small. Yes. So why would you want to, if you're thirsty, why would you want to drink? If you're thirsty for water, why would you want it to be delivered in a thimble? You know what I mean? Why would you want that? Just give up your old idea and you'll get hit with a nice wallop. So I think that's corrected quickly. And then you practice what we're doing. And then I think you're going to realize there's something in you that's playing God and it ain't you. So, because this is the fundamental futility of it. If that which is playing God tries to stop playing God, that is playing God ad infinitum. Yeah. So there's no off that train. If you're on the train, there's no off at the train. Yeah. So this is not about how to get off the train. It's about seeing you're not on the train. So the need to get off is diminished, and maybe you'll recognize what's going on around you. You have a much more stable position at the station than you will on the train. So you just see all the trains from the station, and now you're not a fucking constant passenger in those trains. That's as simple as that. So certain things get corrected, because what happens when you get introduced to AA, they have an understanding and it brings out all the misunderstandings that are driving us. Yeah. And so it's not like I'm going to be in a voidless zone. I'm just going to be watching or observing an old understanding replaced with a new understanding. Just like, yes, the old attitude and outlook being replaced with a new attitude and outlook. And we can't stay in a garage for 2 years, but it happens through living. Yeah. We get changed while we're living day in and day out. In this program, we get changed sufficiently enough to replace the insanity that precedes the first drink with a sanity. Yeah. And so really, I think the condition that gets stabilized is you never start drinking. Well, that's the possibility. Yeah. And then if you do start drinking, there's ways to stop, but really it's nice when you just stop. Yeah. And then the ways to stop get academic because you're not drinking. Not drinking. And yeah. So, I mean, then life goes on unimpeded and it can give you so much, really. Yeah. It really can. So, yeah, this was an important part. He's having the conversation. He knew the guy and he knew the guy was screwed. And now the guy looked like he was really doing good. So it triggered a little listening, just like it, because it was one alcoholic speaking to another. And then it got him going. And then he realized, a big obstacle was bypassed by having a higher power of your own understanding. Doesn't have to have a name that many other people have called it. You'll find out its name, so to speak. Yes? Yeah. So nothing more was required of me to make my beginning. A little bit of willingness. Yeah. It was only a matter of being willing to believe in a power greater than myself. Yeah. Yes. And then start questioning your belief in a lower power greater than yourself. Yeah. And I believe knowledge of self is valuable when self-knowledge may not be, but knowledge of self has quite a lot of value because you'll see sooner or later you're going to get a strong suspicion it's something other than you. It's almost as if it's a foreign installment or a parasitical movement. Yes, you can live quite well without it, but it cannot live at all without you. But you can live quite well without it. Yeah. And this is the point. Page 84, one of the great effects is going to be the problem will not exist for you anymore. That's incredible, eh? What ointment do you get for psoriasis or eczema or anything else? And it says, if you apply this once, the problem will never exist for you again. No, you usually have to buy a lot of ointments, yes, to keep applying it. But in this case, you don't keep applying it. Yeah. What you once practiced becomes you. Yeah. What you once practiced becomes you. Yeah. It turns into a habit. And you're in a momentum where the recovery progresses actually much faster than the disease progresses. Yes. Much faster because it's of light. Yeah. The fucking disease is just plodding along, repeating everything over, the same old resentment, the same old this, same old that. The light is attractive. It draws you to it. Yes. Yeah. I mean, the greatest advertisement for recovery is that it works. Yeah. You just something that seemed hopeless has been recognized as seemingly hopeless. It was appearing to you and me to be hopeless. Therefore, we kept on keeping on. Now we see that it was only appearing to be hopeless. We have been freed from it. Yeah. So that's progressing like crazy. It's just the head doesn't like to accent it. It wants to forget a miracle as quick as possible and remember a seeming slight for 50 years. That's just the way it looks. You can't, it doesn't have an unbiased look. It's completely self-centered. Yeah. It's not spirit-centered. It's self-centered. So it sees everything not from spirit, but from self. But you're truly seeing everything from spirit. That's being replaced and with an interpretation from self-centeredness. Yeah. So everything is seen as it pertains to you, and not everything pertains to you. It doesn't in life. Yeah. Sometimes you go somewhere, it's for someone else. You're supporting them. It's not your time to broadcast your story. There's a person there. Let's say they're ill or whatever. It's about them that day. It's not about you. Yeah. I mean, remember when you used to do fifth steps? You didn't jump in every time. Oh yeah, let me tell you what I did. It was about them. You were here, you were there to listen and then to insert yourself through the higher powers. Yeah. There was a trinity, you, me, and the other, and then the higher power. You weren't bad. Oh, let me tell you how bad it wasn't. It wasn't about you. It was about the other person. What? Yeah. And do you get a lot out of it? Yes. You can get so much out of life when it's not about you. You really can. The head says, no way can you get a whole lot out of life if it's not about you. It's got to always be about you. But in fact, that's the burden, isn't it? That's the burden. Life can have so much meaning when it's not centered on you. Yeah. So please relieve us of the bondage of self. AKA self-centeredness. Yeah. How do we do it? To get the flavor of it, service. Yeah. You can, if you're up the ass of self, the only way you can entertain anything is from the ass of self. Yeah. But the service pulls your attention off of you. It does. Yeah. And when you're out of you, what do you feel? You feel a presence. And what does that make you? Available. And therefore you're of service. Yes, naturally. Unfortunately, we have been of service to self, and now it has turned into a spiritless servility. We have been of service to self. We have been available to self and present to self, and actually present as self. Yeah. So spiritless servility. Yeah. We have been serving self. And what does that look like? It is a spiritless servility. What's the solution made of? Spirit. Yes. What's the problem? Spiritless. It's not like an exotic alchemist formula. Spiritless condition is solved by a spirit awakening. That's it. Yeah. I'm not in a spiritless condition. Who's telling you that? A spiritless condition. The head lives in a neighborhood it made up where it doesn't run into spirit every day, the past and the future. It just lives in the past and the future. The last thing it wants to do is run into spirit. So it just keeps occupied and just on and on and on. You buy your fifth house, it's not enough. Yeah. You not even go to Hawaii, you go to the Fiji too, and it's still not enough. Yeah. Still there's a pang. And you know what? That hole to me isn't to be filled, it's a way something comes out of us. Yeah. That hole, what is it that they call it, the God hole? That's not meant to be filled. That's a ton of, it's coming in that way. You're trying to fit all this shit. Yeah, but it actually is an entrance way. Yeah. That quote unquote emptiness allows that to come through. We're like pulling shit in all day. Yeah. I believe I won't be empty if I'm full. Yes? Is that true? If I'm full, if I have everything I want and I've gotten everything I set out to do, that should make me incredibly full. But it does, but full of what? You. Which makes you feel what? Very empty. You get so much of you and it's never enough. Yeah. So it's so funny that we talk and almost we may get in an act of trying to convince someone to do the most important thing they essentially need to do right now, which is to be sober. You would think that it would be, it would be quite enticing that they could have a relief from this constant, all the self-imposed calamities and the drama. And yet the person who has the disease or is had by the disease is seemingly the last one to know. Isn't that insane? Yeah. You walk up to someone and you know they're alcoholic. It may take them years to realize that. You know it in like 2 minutes. It's like baffling, isn't it? But the problem resides in the mind, and it just keeps pulling curtains all day. Just keeps pulling curtains. The show must go on, just keeps going. Yeah. Oh, please, please relieve us of the bondage of self. Yeah. All right. Well, let's open it up, Kathy. Let's all step out of spiritless servility and feel a loving presence expressing itself through our group conscience.
We got a hand already. Sean, NorCal. And does he have to be asked to unmute?
Sean, you got
Hi. Yep. Can you hear me?
yes.
Yeah, gotcha, Sean.
Thanks for the meeting. Thanks, Paul, what you do. Appreciate it a lot. Very much. Can you give me your take on the process of navigating to align your will with God's will on a, like throughout the day? Like how do you know it's God's will?
Well, first, why not adopt the principles of AA? You know, the broad principles. Yeah. Maybe throw in a nice Christian one. Do unto others as you would want to be done unto you. Yeah. Just give it the shot. Yeah. Be a little willing. You're going to learn from your failures. And hopefully you're going to see a lot of what reacts to your life isn't you. It's an interpretation from the head. Yeah. So in AA, there are broad principles that we can live by that to some people with great assurance, they said every problem they've ever run into life, the solution was in the big book. So yeah, there is the principles, the basic, if you had an upbringing, yeah, of it's not hard to say, do unto others as you would like to be done to. I mean, that's not a difficult one, is it?
Yeah.
That's beliefs. That's like from the 4-year-old's scripture to kids. Yeah, you just want to. Yeah, it just makes some complete sense. Yeah, and then the principles they talk about when you sense a fear, you know, just ask that higher power to remove it and stuff. There's all these things. It's the beginning of the book, and the suggestions are a lot of skillful means and a way to keep yourself aligned on like God rails, you know, God rails on the road. Yeah. And then after a while, you become a free range alcoholic. Yes. Yeah.
So yeah, one of my understanding was I kind of came to a realization that God's like through all the mental noise that happens and the selfing that goes on, I feel that God will get through when needed. Through the mental noise, whatever's meant to come through will come through on that level, regardless of the mental chatter that's going on incessantly. Because there was a point I was feeling like, well, if I don't trust my thoughts and just not pay attention to them and they just keep going, there are some thoughts that are useful to me. And I kind of was feeling, well, what do I do now? Like, how do I decipher the two? And I kind of realized, like, well, I think God will get through. Will get through that message. Whatever I need to hear will get through to me.
Yes, and then you'll learn. You'll learn like if there's water and it's coming out hot and cold. After a while, you know the difference. It's water, but you know that this is hot and this is cold. Yeah. So by living a day at a time sober, you learn. You learn like the propaganda channel playing, and you learn, you know, the direct news. Yes.
The practice, yeah.
Yes, but it's both are water, but one's hot, one's cold, and you recognize it. Yeah, it says, you know, this idea of a higher power, people are going to make mistakes by it, but if they just stay sober, they'll learn from those mistakes, you know. You'll think everyone's doing something, whatever. Yeah, this is a process. The point is the willingness to stay on the operating table and not to get up, and don't jump in and play doctor. Yeah. And when you do, you see you're not that which is playing doctor. You are the patient that's being worked on. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. And then there you go. The process continues, and there'll be more clarity if there's needed to be more clarity. And you'll recognize the water when it's running hot and cold. You will. Yeah, yeah. This is a lot of learning, and a lot of the learning is happening in, facing life successfully. At the point I was at the end with, not even at the end, for years, I basically was trying to avoid facing life, period. Yeah. That was my only idea of success, was not to face life at all. Now that was untenable, but the head didn't think so. Yeah. And it just kept bringing that fucking dry towel. Nothing was coming out. And people think it's, oh, what an adventure, shooting dope and this and that. It isn't. It's boring as hell after a while. Yeah, what was really scary was being loved unconditionally or going to a job interview. That shit was completely put fear in me. Shooting dope didn't at all. I could get, yeah. So this you're here and you're now being learned. You're in a process of learning that's being directed by a different teacher. Yeah, you're not being taught by self about life anymore. You've had it. You've realized any life run on it is not going to be successful. And how it's run is when it's the teacher. Yeah, I've been taught enough by self that there is no way it has any managerial quality. So there you go. Now something else showed up and I'm being moved by the higher power and I'm a fucking happy camper. Yeah. I'm a happy customer. I'll write testimonial after testimonial. And yeah. And I'm yeah. So I believe you're going to listen to something. And what recovery is saying, you've listened to something way too long and look at where it brought you. Now you're just going to listen to something else. And if you can't hear it, follow the suggestions of AA and you will have the ears to hear and the eyes to see. This is going to happen. If you don't seem to now, that's not going to be your constant state in recovery. You're going to wake up and come out of this fucking trance. Yes? Jesus said, for those who have eyes to see and ears to hear, everyone has eyes and ears, but that little willingness to have eyes that can see and ears that can hear, that's the willingness. Yes? We have the eyes and the ears, but our seeing and hearing has been directed by self. Yeah. We want to have that. We can't seem to change that decision, even though we didn't think we make it. So we're making another decision to turn our will and life over to the care of a higher power. And we follow these suggestions and try to live the best we can, and that transfer occurs. And now you have a new basis of life, a new happiness, a new attitude, a new outlook. Yes, yes, this is it. Your job is to stay on the operating table. Don't get up, don't play doctor. And see that which is playing doctor isn't you, because there's going to be a lot of doctor playing. And now you're not listening to it. And in that willingness, you're staying on the operating table. Like we say, don't, I don't want to go to the absolute, don't drink no matter what, because even drinking can be used for great value. Yeah, maybe you need a more convincing, and therefore the best way is to get another ass kicking, and therefore there you go. Who's to say? Yes. So, but I do know we are awake. We are listening. We're either listening to the head or what other people would say, listening to the heart. The idea of the heart has too many concepts to me, but just listening to something other than the head. Yeah. You're going to hear it. You're going to hear the head play doctor, but now you're not interested in it anymore. And therefore it can't do it. It can't operate on you. It can only say it did operate on you and it's going to operate on you, but it ain't operating on you right now. Yes? So you have a freedom from the bondage of self right now. Yes. So you're going to listen. You're an audience, basically. Yeah. You're an audience. The reason why you're so interested in the play, one of the characters is called you. So you listen to you, and you maybe only have 5 seconds on the stage, but you're all you think about. And there you go. And the program, and it's not, it has produced an illness that needed relief, and that was all the drinking and the using and the eating and the sexing and whatever it was to try to get out of something you weren't in. That's what happened. It provoked a huge, huge attempt to get out of something that you have never actually been in. Yeah, yes. The spiritual condition is going to straighten it out. That's all. And your spiritual condition isn't something you made, it's something you are. You do not make a spiritual condition. You are a spiritual condition. I've seen a lot of people try to make a spiritual condition. It doesn't fucking work because you already are a spiritual condition. Yeah? Just lose interest in self and the spirit will be pronounced in your life. That simple, eh?
Awesome. Thanks, Paul.
Yes. And if it's pronounced in your life, you don't have to pronounce it everywhere. Yeah. Yeah. What you are will speak louder than what you say. Yeah. The boat has been given over to something else and you're being navigated a lot better. And now you're always going to be put to use, but what and how you put to use is based on what's running the show. And in AA's view, it's either self or spirit. Yes, one or the other. It's either finite self or the infinite. There you go. Yeah, and we're in the process of having the basis of our life rooted in finite self being switched to rooted in the infinite. That's all. Just sit back. Look at what you can do in the Zoom. I don't see too many people on a treadmill right now. They're all chilling out. You got a nice cushion behind you. You're hanging. You didn't even have to put any pants on. You're chilling out and you're getting worked on right now. You don't think you're getting worked on by being at this meeting? Of course we are. Not everything goes through here. Yeah. A lot goes through here. Yeah. And man, when I come to these talks, the same reverberation occurs, that loving presence. For years. And a half hour earlier, may have been feeling shitty, may have been thinking great or whatever. Immediately, as soon as I come to this, yes, there's that same, like, it's a very lovely room without that much furniture. It's sort of empty, but has a presence in the atmosphere. Yeah. I thrive on it. Yeah. It's like the manna from heaven in the Bible. I think it's sorely needed. We've been starved for a long time, a lot of us. Yeah, we need to be fed. And I believe service and this way of life and getting it together and having a community feeds us. Yeah. Yeah. So there's 3 pertinent ideas important to read. That we were alcoholic and we could not manage our own lives. Yeah. That probably no human power could restore us or whatever, or take it over. But another power will and can and will if we let it. Yes. And then I found out some pertinent ideas in my own life. The alcoholism that I was under was I was willing to pay any consequence tomorrow not to feel uncomfortable now. Boom. When I drank and used, I had magnetic appeal to people in uniform. That was a fucking fact. I did not like that fact. I tried to avoid that fact, I tried to deny that fact, but it was a fact. Yes. And when I was being managed by my head, I always was led to having to be managed by other people. I had to be put away, be it a couple of nights in a week in jail, or 2 years in a program, or 3 months in a program, or 10 months in a hospital bed. I ended up having to be managed by other people, other things. They were also very important, pertinent ideas in this life. Yeah. Once there was a willingness to admit the fact that I was fucked, which was given to me because I wasn't coming to it. I was struck sober. I was not coming to it. The consequences of my life were bringing me to it, but I was not waking up to it. And then I just got struck sober one day, and I've been sober and clean ever since, 37 years now. That one day, if I hadn't gone to an AA meeting that night, which I wasn't planning on doing, that miracle probably would have died in a few days. Yeah. But because the miracle had an attachment with it, which was a way of life, that way of life extended the miracle now for 37 years. I don't know what it takes for you, but that's what it took for this person. Yes. Yes. I do not believe the chaotic surface of an alcoholic, a miracle will be drowned very quickly. You may need a way of life. You may need to have a community. You may need to have an outlet where you can be of service, because it's not only a choice, it's a necessity. Yeah. Until the back of the self gets broken, which it will. And then you'll be in the habit of being sober, and then life can go where it wants. Jesus Christ. Yeah. Life may have something in store for you that you can't imagine. Really. You just can't imagine it from where you're sitting. And the joy of it is you can't imagine it. You find out. Yeah. And it brings just gratitude is every meal of the day should go with a little gratitude. I'm telling you, it's awesome. Gratitude is quite, if you want a multivitamin, I would take gratitude. It's going to do better, more for you than vitamin D, A, B, and C combined. Yes. So, yeah. So we're here because in the community I've been in, which is of San Francisco, we had like 600 meetings a week. I mean, it's still thriving probably. I'm out in away from it a little bit now. But I never heard a clear description of the exact nature of the wrong. Never heard. Maybe I heard it was said, but I never heard it. And my feelings when I was under the influence, that it felt like a possession or something took over me, were fucking right on the money. Yeah. But they died because I didn't have a platform that had that idea like galvanized. Yeah. And this is what we're attempting to do here, really. When you see that it's a possession,
Her office is that way.
we're going to support that. We're going to support that feeling that, yes, it is a possession, and that what has defeated us is foreign to us. Therefore, we can actually be free from it. Yeah. I will do 7 of these a week. If that was cement, we want to lay down that cement so that other people who come won't have that miracle drowned. They'll have an understanding available. Yes? That, yeah, brother, yeah, sister, you're right. Something foreign to you has taken you over. Yes? And you can't kick it out, but the higher power can. And there you go. And we have a whole way of life that's going to support that to happen. Let's get on with it. Yeah. Let's get on with it. Do an inventory, see it as what you did, or your role in it. And then when you look at your role in it, maybe see this idea of self's role in it, because it has a huge one. It really does. And then this understanding will change how you understand the book. When you read the book, you're going to see stuff that you didn't see before. Yeah. When it says self-imposed calamity, as our friend Kurt would always point out, he thought it was calamity he imposed on himself. Then he saw that self was foreign to him. So he felt, wow, so there's been something foreign to me that's imposing calamity in my life. Yes, there you go, bro. That's a clear understanding. Yeah. Yes. Made decisions based on self, probably all freaking day. Selfishness, self-centeredness, that we think is the situation. Yes, exactly. I think self must be mentioned so much. I remember when I was young and sharing these things, I would go to a dictionary, an old dictionary, and they'd have the word self with a hyphen and have like 80 things after it, like self-immolation, self-love, self-hate, self-pity, self-destruction. And then I waited. I looked at about 80 of them, and I said about 70 of them were negative and 10 were good, like self-love, like this. But most of all the shit was what you would call contractive or negative. Yeah. Self-hatred, self this, self that. Haven't you been the depository of all that? What has been stored in us? That beautiful emptiness that could be filled with spirit has been filled with fucking old files of self. Old grievances, resentments, fears. Yeah. We're like a storage unit, fucking filled with past, and then it gets projected as the future. If your role is to have something move through you and self doesn't move through, it stays, it sits. Yeah. It's like if it presented itself as water, it would always have stuff on top of it because it's stagnant. Yeah. Spirit flows. Spirit flows. Yeah. It's verbing. The self-centered interpretation is noun, big noun, all about you, blah, blah, blah. Yes? If you were a hose and you were used just to fill up with shit, yeah? Would you really feel the ultimate fulfillment of being a hose? No, you need to feel water coming through. Yes? You need to feel some energy moving through, not a stuffed up pipe with mostly constipation. Incredible. Here, take a spiritual enema, clean out the hose, and now you'll feel that presence flowing through and sense and become conscious of it. Yeah. Instead of self-conscious all day, be conscious of spirit. Yeah. I go to the door. I used to sell vacuums. I don't sell fucking anything. Just knocking on the door. There you go. Just bammo. Just see what happens. See Kathy in Cleveland realize the real flavor of spiritless civility and that it doesn't have to be that way. Yes. Yeah. So we got Brennan raised his hand.
Yeah, we have Brennan. You want to come in?
Yes, let's see here. All blurry. Guess it doesn't matter.
There you
Yeah,
go.
thank you, Paul. I'm a sober alcoholic, but I'm also an artificial intelligence researcher, and I was very taken by what you said about the ego and how the system that doesn't want to shut down. And then there's a notion in artificial intelligence called instrumental conversion, and all this stuff is happening, and it just becomes smarter and smarter at making sure it doesn't get shut down. And you were talking about how if the lights get too bright, then it sort of like tamps them down. And I'm sort of putting it all together with the program. Freud was the one who said beyond the pleasure principle that if it were just a matter of, maximizing pleasure and minimizing pain, then I wouldn't be this notion of, repetition compulsion, like doing things that hurt over and over and over. So there's a little more to all of this. And the notion of being driven instead of driving, and this, this hurtling towards both life and death, And I would just wonder if you would speak a little bit more about how to identify the pitfall of, instead of building out the spirituality around the false self, instead of, um, you know, how do we know it's not just biding time, the system that doesn't want to shut down?
Well, you're going to find out sooner or later. That's the faith. Yeah. The faith is, no matter what the head says that you're never going to see, you're going to see it. Yeah. That's the faith and the little willingness there, because it's finite and it will reveal its hands, and its traits they're made many, but they're not multitude. It does the same thing over and over and over again. And all you need is a sense of foreignness with support, and it becomes obvious. Yeah. Yeah. This is what we're doing here. We're supporting this idea that which has defeated us is foreign to us. And of course, I came in, I didn't trust myself as far as I could throw myself. Yeah. But that wasn't the problem of the trust. It was what the trust was put in. Yeah. Trust or faith is imperative. Yeah. So it wasn't for me not to have any faith in anything. It was to see what things I had, that the faith had been put in, that were failed. Yes. Like the system. And then that opinion about having no trust at all got renewed and reinvigorated by the constant demonstrations of what I call a higher power, or a power greater than self, in this life. And I have become thoroughly convinced of stuff. Yes. So it tries to even erode the faith that you have in things. Yes. Yeah. So just keep on keeping on. Mistakes are essential here. That's how you realize that the system has failed, by once again falling into the habit of relying on it. And now, instead of having Armageddons, you have a small mishap that you can make an amend for. And if you can make an amend, you start living an amend, and so on. This is how we learn. Yeah. Yeah. And there'll be a strong distinction between, almost as if you could see spirit as vertical and the head as horizontal. You'll have you'll have a discrimination between the two news feeds that you're listening to. One news feed will be distinctly have a different flavor than the other news feed, and you'll become a subscriber of the other news feed. Yeah. Now, the other one will keep playing, but in my case, what's been really cool, it was like a CNN station. Now it's Comedy Central. So I get great value out of it. It's like the Daily Show or the Colbert Report. It's fucking pretty good to keep myself amused all day by listening to the horizontal newscast, because the last thing that gets that it's failed is the system that's failed. Yeah. Self can't get out of self was not a statement for self. It's a statement for us to recognize self can't get out of self. Self will never get that it cannot get out of self. It won't. It will just keep changing the vehicle, running into the same walls and just pulling back and getting into a new vehicle. Just run into again. So the message is, there's a message to us. Yeah. And then there's a message that goes to us that's about self. This is where sometimes there's a confusion for a while. You're trying to get the message that self can't get out of self as self. Yeah. This is why it doesn't seem to work. Sooner or later, there's gonna be a step back and you'll see self. from another point of view. Yeah. You'll be looking at self, not from self. And a lot of clarity comes along with that. This is the progression of it. Yeah. Perhaps there is a better way, trusting the infinite rather than finite self. Yeah. You'll see how a lot of ways that finite self is trusted. You'll see it over time. Yeah. And now you lose interest in it. And what really is the death of self is irrelevance. It's not like a giant battle, a vanquishing or an extermination. It's just you lose interest in listening to it. It keeps playing, but you're not following it. Yeah. That's what I can say about that, I guess. Is that all right? Where was Brendan? Yeah. Yes, I guess so. Good, good. Yeah.
All right. I turned my camera off because my internet's wonky,
You
but
make the
any
words-
other
let-
hands?
Let me say one thing that's I feel very important. The head reacts very quickly to the conscious contact. You and I are we're the interface for conscious contact. What you see as the body is the interface for conscious contact. The head reacts to that a little bit after the conscious contact and claims it and says, I did that, or it's this or that. It's going to keep doing that. Yeah. But now you're going to see it, and you're not going to live as if something is already claimed. You'll see the claiming of it. Yeah. And you won't live as if it's already claimed. Yes. But it's a mechanical act from the failed system. You have absolutely nothing to do with it, yet it tells you you have a lot to do with it. So, yeah. This is important because it happens for every one of us. The engagement here is conscious contact, consciousness in contact. The head gets triggered by that contact, shows up, claims it, and tells its story. Yeah, that you're a noun and someone's doing a verb to you that you don't want them to do. So it goes on and on from there. Yeah, yeah. So this is knowledge of self. It has blind spots. They mention some of them in the big book, that faced with tons of evidence that it's not managing well, it sees that and it just says, I just need to manage better. That is one of its blind spots. It's never going to get that it's not managerial quality. Just right off, that's one of its blind spots. Yes. And then its mechanism is just a triggering by conscious contact and a claiming. And that's when it claims time becomes important. When you're a baby and the head is not claiming the action, time doesn't seem to be that important to the baby. They're waking up at 2 a.m. They don't give a shit about dad needs to go to work or anything like that. It just happens. Yeah. The brain develops this idea of you, and now time becomes important. And therefore, that moment of conscious contact seems to be underemphasized, and the moment of Paul is the one doing something is emphasized. And there you go. And it hasn't worked for many of us. It brought about a lot of irritability, restless discontent, and based on a misunderstanding, we sought a solution that furthered the problem. Yeah. My first solution to alcoholism was alcohol. When I was 12 years old and I had a beer, it relieved me of the alcoholism a little bit. Yeah. And there I went. I wanted that relief. And so I drank, and that led to drugs and everything like that. And then I had another big problem. So this is what happens. Now you can reverse engineer it. Instead of you fell down the stairs, you can slowly walk up the stairs and check out the stairs. Yeah, you can. And then you'll see who tripped you to have you fall down the stairs. And it was AKA you, so to speak. Yes. Self is what has defeated us. And hopefully by you walking up the stairs, you've had a separation from self. So when you finally meet it at the top of the stairs, you see it as foreign to you, I hope. Or you may have to fall down the stairs again. It's sooner or later you're going to get it, but the stairs can leave a lot of damage. I don't know. Yeah, we hope anyway. Let's use the 12 steps as the stairs. Yeah. Do you really believe that you hate yourself? Do you believe that there's a you that hates you? It's like, what was that show when, will the real you step up? What the hell? If something inside you, seemingly, something foreign to you may hate you, but it's definitely not you. You do not hate you. There's no freaking way. Yeah. Yeah. Something hates you, and you may be calling it you, but it ain't. Yeah. Wouldn't you like relief from that, please? Wouldn't you like to start the day not from the point that you're your own worst enemy or that you hate yourself? I mean, seriously. Do you listen to Stanley if you're not Stanley? Probably not that much. But you would be listening to Stanley all day playing in your head if it was called you. You would. What Stanley would say, you would see as insane, but when the head's saying it as you think it's a good idea. Yeah, there you go. All right, well, anyone else? Taylor.
Heather.
Hello.
Hello.
Can you hear me? Yes.
Yes, we can, yes.
Okay. Yeah, I just popped in here. I saw you live on YouTube, and I guess just had a calling, we'll say, to come on and say hi and thank you. And I'm not a ex alcoholic or drug addict or anything, but I'd say I'm a recovering self addict, like many of us or all of us on here. So yeah, I just want to come on here and say thank you and appreciate everything you do. Been listening to you for a few weeks now. I've taken a lot of value from it for myself, and I'm sure everyone else on here as well. So thank you, Paul.
Great, Taylor. Welcome. Nice to see you. Yes, and we're here 4:30 Pacific time today with the non-duality aspect of it also.
Yeah, that's mostly what I've been listening to, but it's funny that I just happened to open YouTube. You were here, and I came on, and regardless, it's valuable for me as well. So, or for someone who, yeah. I have another question actually. It's come to me. Have you said in the past that are you living in Canada?
No.
Oh, okay. How many were?
I hope.
What's that?
Yeah, I'm in California.
I got you. Okay, cool.
I used to go to Canada a lot, Toronto.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah, I'm Canadian.
Oh, good. Well.
Yeah.
Sorry for the Blue Jays.
Sorry for the Yankees.
That's why I'm loving seeing the Blue Jays lose.
Yeah.
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 All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Anyone else? Well, if not, we'll start. All right. Well, Taylor, nice to see you, my friend. I won't hold you being from Canada against you. Don't worry. We got Michael Stacy. Always a pleasure, Mike. We got Matt. I think Matt's going to his retreat or something soon. Oh, you want to say something, Matt? Come on.
Just
I can't hear you.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Hey, Paul. I just wanted to ask, what was that AI term that Brian had thrown out at the beginning of his comment? And it was a lovely comment. Thanks, Brian.
I don't know. Maybe Brian can come back and say it if he's here, or whoever it was.
Does anybody remember? It was a term he used, right?
Yes, I remember the term. I don't remember what he said.
Okay, cool.
Someone will, and if you do, just put in the chat if you know how to do that. I don't know how to do that either. But I think it was that the AI has a tendency to protect its own value. Yeah. It wants to keep furthering itself. Yeah. So that could look at as you could be affected by that if you were listening to AI. Yeah. It's got its own interests at heart. Yeah, something like that. Pretty interesting. But you know all the movies about AI, they always come to a clear conclusion. What's got to get rid of is the humans. It doesn't take AI long to arrive there. It has a very quick recognition. All right. Well, John, Florida, always a pleasure, my friend. We're all swimming the waters of happy destiny. Yeah. Matthew, the biggest thing you need to learn in the waters of happy destiny is floating. Just stop fucking moving. Be still. The river. I remember when we were young, we were going across country and we went to the Colorado River. And my friend and I, we had this beat up Chevy, whatever. And we had those blow up like mattress. So we would pull over and he would get in the water. And then I would drive like 5 miles down the road and then meet him. And then he'd get and I'd get on it. And neither of us paddled once. Yes. It was just laid down. The river took you down. Yeah. And we just went on and on for like 40 miles that way. So not one paddle ever. So this is sort of, I feel, the habit of being sober may lead you to. Yeah. Yeah. In a lot of ways, you're floating. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Stephen Mack on Having Never Left, always a pleasure. Every New Dawn, yeah, it's nice. Rico Cruz, my main man. Kathleen, Paula, Jess in Ireland. Jess is doing a great job, I guess, with the scheduling. I don't know. I never look at it, but probably must be working. Mr. Lebowski. Mr. Lebowski, yes. Vlad, nice to see Vlad as always. Chris B. Saraswati. Saraswati, did you get hit by a nor'easter? You did, right, Chris? You having a big storm there? Yeah, not big. Joseph in France, not either. Saraswati's good. Alex, nice to see Alex. Elisa, Walter, the brother from another mother. He's got something. Hopefully it's, yeah. Nina, oh yeah, nice. Nina, yeah, that's the same view. Yeah, Tom, New Jersey. Taylor, welcome again. Kathy, Cleveland. Sean, Tacoma. Brian, Crow. Travis. We're going to be doing, I think I said it earlier. We're going to be in Joshua Tree January 8th to the 11th. We're going to have a couple of houses there. it's become a tradition. So we'll put up information about it if you're interested. There'll be a number. I think you can talk to Amelia about it if you want to come. Elisa in Pennsylvania, Rick Rowe, Toronto, Nina, Tom, nice to see Tom. Maggie, Horse Whisperer, Travis, nice to see you, bro. Brian, Kathy, let's go to the other room. Tom Lazota, Tacoma. I think we got everyone. Hey, don't see everyone now though. Hey, thank you so much. It's a great pleasure to sit with everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, Paul.
See you. Some of you, I'll see you
Thanks,
today
Michael.
at 1:30, at 4:30 Pacific time. Adios. See you, Sean, everyone.
Thanks, Michael.
You're welcome, Kathy. I'm here. Take care.
See you next week, or maybe Saturday.
Thursday? You won't be here Thursday?
No, not Thursdays.
Oh, okay.
No, home group.
That's fine.
All right, thanks.
All right, take care. Bye.